Oh, there's an endless array of limits. Yeah, the interesting part is to make it look in the end as if we didn't have any limitations. But I mean, it's all cost driven. It's a huge industry, so of course it's all about budget. Time is a huge issue, so there's a huge schedule pressure. There are a few examples I could maybe name. Let's say you build a part of this vehicle as a real set piece where the actor's going to sit in. And you don't want to harm these actors physically by a certain sharp corner that maybe look cool in your cockpit that you designed, but when the actor comes in with the precious spacesuit that other costume designers designed, she gets in and rips the whole arm off on your super cool feature in on your joystick controls. That is one point where I never thought about that it matters. Other things is, let's say, reflectivity. A chrome is always something nice to add because it looks good in a rendering, but it's the biggest headache of a director because the whole setup of the film equipment and anything else would reflect in the film plate. So you would use like dull spray to dull the chrome maybe, or you get asked like, can you just use some silver paint and not chrome? And you go like, oh, silver paint? That iPod doesn't look good with silver paint. So it's there's a lot of limits. I don't know, my message maybe would be to younger or to students that it helps me a lot to think of every single project I do as the first page in my portfolio. That is my ultimate goal, to say, okay, I don't finish this before I can be proud of it in my portfolio on the first page. Well, I think what we all share as designers is that we are looking at the world with different eyes somehow. I somehow look at the world like an alien sometimes, wondering why the hell did the human race came up with a car that has a 3-box volume, and we all take it for granted. And we all discuss that if the rear end of this is full, it gets a certain name. It's called a station wagon or a shooting brake, and then immediately this makes it family. And if I was an alien, I would wonder like, wow, they're really specific about what they're doing. And because it evolved over such a long time to a certain perfection. And if you take that alien approach as a student, or like how I try to do it, it leads to questioning everything. And when you start questioning everything, you start to design constantly. Like wondering, why does it look like that? And for many things, there's a reason why it does. But if you find a way to make it look different, but find an explanation for it, I think then you have a strong thing there that you can jump off with. And especially in fantasy design, I thought it really helps to make up own rules. Like Earth has a certain rule. There's a certain acceleration, gravity. There's certain the streets have a certain width. The sky is blue. Cars have in their plastic flaps, they have an extra little flap so that you don't get blended by the light of the sun. There's so many weird details in our world. And if you create something similar but not exactly like that for your own little world, it gives you beautiful boundaries to come up with something of your own. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's looking at the bigger, setting up a stage basically wherein you can design something different.